How lucky are you? The fact that you was born in the first place. The fact that every single one of your ancestors was born with desirable sex characteristics which allowed them to reproduce since the dawn of humans, just for you to exist now. How probabilistically improbable. And yet, here you are, existing, watching my video, and not liking it. Okay, so as you may have gathered, this video is going to be about probability. So, for starters, what is probability? Oh, heads up, I say that word a lot and it's already lost all meaning. I am sorry. Probability, in short, is how likely something is going to happen. Like roulette. Let's say you place your life savings on black and it lands on red. The probability of you being single by the end of that day is realistically very high. But the probability of it landing on either colour was around 50%. Disregarding 0 because 0 is a dick. One of my friends likes to irritate me by saying everything is a 50-50 chance. But while not being scientifically correct, he is in fact somewhat right. It either will or won't happen. And this has always annoyed me because I can't argue against it. Fucking dick Jack. Like those posts you see on Facebook that says something like, your chances of being kidnapped by an army of frogs are very low, but never zero. Everything, no matter how probabilistically improbable, is a 50-50 chance. But no, fuck that, and here's why. Okay, so if you was to shuffle a deck of cards, there's almost a 100% chance that no one on earth has ever had that configuration of cards the exact same way as you. So this is absolutely mind-boggling. I've just found out this online because I searched for how many configurations there can be in a 52 deck of cards, and I found out that it's 52 exclamation mark. Which confused the hell out of me, and I still didn't understand, so I did a bit of reading and found out this by someone called Chaddy Things.
Set a timer to count down 52 factorial seconds. That's 8.0658 times 10 to the 67 seconds. Stand on the equator and take a step forward every billion years. When you've circled the Earth once, take a drop of water from the Pacific Ocean and keep going. When the Pacific Ocean is empty, lay a sheet of paper down, refill the ocean and carry on. When your stack of paper reaches the sun, take a look at the timer. The three leftmost digits won't have changed. 8.063 times 10 to the 67 seconds left to go. You have to repeat the whole process 1,000 times to get a third of the way through that time. 5.385 times 10 to the 67 seconds left to go. So to kill that time, you try something else. Shuffle a deck of cards, deal yourself 5 cards every billion years. Each time you get a royal flush, buy a lottery ticket. Each time that ticket wins the jackpot, throw a grain of sand into the Grand Canyon. When the Grand Canyon's full, take 1 ounce of rock off Mount Everest, empty the canyon and carry on. When Everest has been leveled, check the timer. There's barely any change. 5.364 times 10 to the 67 seconds left. You'd have to repeat this process 256 times to have run out the timer.
So, in short, fuck that number and everything to do with that number. It's far too big for our human brains to comprehend. It seems like there's not enough time in the universe for that number to even apply to, well, anything really. I guess you could ask how many Planck lengths are in the size of the sun, but I don't even think that's enough. Right, so if you've been on my channel for a while now, you know there's
a war going on. And that war's been raging for nearly a decade. One war between a man and a whole species.
Fuck you guys! I'm now going to tell you why I have such a hatred for these things that ties into our video about probability. Okay, so... A long time ago, when I was roughly 15 or 16, I went on holiday to Skegness with 2 of my friends for a week. And by this time, I only had one fear, and it was a fear of jellyfish. Now, this isn't exactly a strange fear, it's very warranted, because jellyfish fucking hurt. And one of these fuckers is biologically immortal. Google it, that's a real thing. So yeah. Okay, where was I? Oh, yeah. So we was in Skegness and we decided to take a trip to the beach one day. My friends decided to take a dip in the sea and I was very content lying on the sand doing nothing. while those two recklessly danced around the swirling murkiness of death until I heard my name being called. Josh! Josh! What? Come on mate, the water's lovely. No, fuck off, there's jellyfish in there. I'll stop being a pussy. Oh, for fuck's sake. So eventually, I get up and make my way over to him, looking at the water the way a cat looks at his loving provider. I start making my way in, and before I'm even knee deep, I can't see my feet. And this is worrying to me. Don't get me wrong, I like the sea, if I can see what's in it. Anything other than that, then no, bollocks. So I start to relax a bit, as I've been in the water for 2 minutes and nothing has touched me. And my friends are making me laugh, and all of a sudden, it felt like something really hot and scraped across my toes, and I screamed and ran out of the water faster than I've ever moved. I ran to the dry of the sand and sat down and looked at my foot, and there it was, the classic reddish lines of a jellyfish sting. I had been stung. So at this point, my friends come running over to me to see what's happened, and if I wasn't in so much pain and a lot smaller and weaker than my friends, I would have beat the shit out of them for putting me in that situation. Anyway, they picked me up, took me back to the place we were staying and splashed some vinegar on it. Heads up, don't piss on it, it makes it worse. And I forgave them. And now, whenever I see a washed up jellyfish, I laugh. Because that's one small victory for me. And that's the reason I hate them. And that's the reason for the war. But where I'm going with this is how probabilistically improbable it was for the one of 3 people who had that phobia of jellyfish to be stung within 2 minutes of being in the water. How many decisions had to be made to get me to that particular part of the country, to that beach, to that area, to that specific spot at that exact time to be stung by that jellyfish. And despite all them variables, it still happened. But when you think about it, what are the odds of anything happening? When you really break it down to its core elements, everything seems probabilistically improbable. Like, really think about it. How unlikely everything is. It's crazy. So, is it so crazy to think that the thing you're not going for because it probably won't happen, will happen? There's no point in holding yourself back because you doubt your success. So go for whatever you're not going for. Ask that person out. Apply for that job. Start your own YouTube channel. Because who knows? It could one day end up working out, no matter how probabilistically improbable. And your own existence is living proof of improbable things becoming something beautiful. Thank you for watching, and stay intensely curious. I want to give a big shout out to Mystiverse for lending me his amazing voice in this episode. I appreciate it tons, thank you. You can also pick up this hoodie from Spring. He has plenty of other tops and jumpers that will suit your style, link in the description as always. Oh, and you'll notice I've got a new awesome logo courtesy of my good friend Scott. He's amazing at designing, so if you need anything like that, hit him up. Details in the description. Once again, thank you all for watching. Stay intensely curious.